Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's the Try It Tuesday challenge where I'm showing you some projects inspired by other YouTube creators with my own little spin. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's hop right into the projects. My first project today is inspired by Rebecca Virginia DIY. We both participated in the Twine It Up challenge earlier this month, and I was inspired by the method she used to create this cute little woven basket vase. And the best part about this project is I had everything on hand that I needed, so I could just craft from my stash, as we say in the DIY world. I started with a paper coffee cup. I just had this one on hand, but you can find these at any grocery store or even at the Dollar Tree. You do want it to be paper, not styrofoam or plastic, so keep that in mind. The first step was to cut the cup into sections. One of Rebecca's tips was that for this method to work, it needs to be an odd number of sections. I didn't want to measure it exactly, but you guys know that I like things to be even, so in order to have it roughly equal sections, I cut one section first, then cut the remaining part in half, and then proceeded to cut those sections into thirds. That made a total of 7 sections. Then I just fanned out the cup on my table. Now Rebecca used jute twine for her basket, but I thought I would try this with 2 different colors of yarn. I'm starting with an oatmeal colored yarn I got at the Dollar Tree, and then later I'm adding a couple stripes with a dark gray. I started by gluing the yarn to the inside of the cup and then proceeded to weave the yarn over and under the flaps around the cup in a circular motion. This took a while, so I'm going to just speed this up, and while I'm weaving, I'll mention that today's challenge is hosted by Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs and co-hosted by Christy Creates. I'll link both of their channels in the description box below, as well as the playlist for the challenge. So be sure to check their channels out and then hop into the playlist to see what everyone comes up with. You'll notice that as I weave and wrap, the flaps start to raise up and take on the shape of the cup again. That makes the spaces between the flaps a little narrower, so it did slow down the process a bit, but I was listening to some good tunes, so that was okay. About a third of the way up, I switched to the charcoal gray. If I had a do-over, I might have switched to the second color a little sooner, but I still like how this turned out. I love grain sack stripes, so my goal here was to do one wider stripe with the gray and one narrower one, and it would have some of the original oatmeal color in between. I'm also excited to announce the winner of my 1,000 subscriber thank you giveaway. In my last video, I did a little trivia about myself and my DIYs, and the winner is Tiffany Scott, who had a perfect score, including all bonus points. There were several people that were close, but she was the only one that knew I had created Ohio State Buckeye OHIO blocks and a scarlet and gray vase in support of our favorite local team. Congrats, Tiffany. I'll reach out to you to deliver your $20 Amazon gift card, and hopefully everyone will stay tuned for future giveaways. I really enjoyed this giveaway, so I think I'll do more for my future milestones. A little bit of the cup shows at both the bottom and the top, but I didn't really have a problem with this. If it would bother you, it would be really easy to cover the rim with more yarn on the outside, so you can try that if you wish. And here it is on my kitchen counter with some spiky purple and green greens displayed with a couple little succulents. I love how this turned out, and I think I have an idea in my head for something similar this fall, so stay tuned. My next project is inspired by Katelyn from Krafts by Katelyn. I'm sure you're all familiar with her channel because she's amazing, but if not, definitely check her out. I'll link the video below. She used picture frames and little dowel rods to create this lantern, but in an effort to continue with what I have on hand, I decided to use the frames from these square canvases from the Dollar Tree. I started out by removing the canvases using a utility knife and the staples from the back using pliers. I got this pack of dowel rods at Walmart. They measured 1 foot long, which I thought was a little long, so I measured them to about 10 inches, and my very helpful hubby trimmed them with his saw. I have a nautical/coastal theme going on this summer, so I thought I'd paint my lantern with the Pool color by Waverly to coordinate with some of my other projects. I used the same color for a few other projects, including my little gallery wall. for some of our favorite vacation photos from last year. I'll link that above if you wish to check it out. I think it's much easier to paint things prior to assembly, and I love the farmhouse distressed look, so one coat was enough, and I was fine if a little bit of the wood showed through in some places. Then it was time for assembly. I assembled my lantern using hot glue. I knew it would be just sitting on a table so it wouldn't get any wear and tear, but if I had wanted a stronger hold, I would have mixed in some wood glue as well. The hot glue gives a quick hold, but the wood glue provides a stronger bond over time. I also noticed there was a side of one of the frames that didn't get painted, so I went back and did a little touch-up. You may have noticed that Katelyn made her lantern look a little more modern with some diagonal rods on two sides, but I'm going for the nautical look today, so I left those out and decided to add a rope handle. I didn't want the rope to flop over though, so I added some wired jute twine to the middle of the nautical rope to give it some stability. Nautical rope is just 3 smaller strands of rope twisted together, so I slightly untwisted it so that I could make it twist around the jute twine. Once I did this a few times, the jute was completely hidden on the inside of the rope, but it gave the rope more structure so that it would stay more rigid like a handle. I trimmed off the jute and then tied the rope in a knot and trimmed off the excess of that as well. Just a little hot glue and my lantern was finished. I didn't have any taller pillars, so to add height, I quickly painted a small dish from the Dollar Tree I've had since Christmas time to use as a pedestal. I used the same pool color by Waverly. Now for the setup. First I added the pedestal, then the candle. Then Katelyn added a little wreath to hers, but I decided to use loose leaves from a Dollar Tree floral stem. And finally I added some little white flowers from another Dollar Tree stem. I didn't glue them down or even create a wreath with them. That way I can switch them out for different stems at some point if I wish. I just love how this turned out, and it looks great next to my vintage looking fisherman's buoys I made a couple weeks ago. I love taking inspiration from things and putting my own little spin on them. Thanks for joining me today. If you found me from the Try It Tuesday playlist, I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification button so you can stay up to date with my content. I'll be taking a few days off to celebrate the 4th of July with some family and friends, but I want to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday. And I'll be back again next week with some more budget DIYs. Hope to see you then. Bye!